Hey everybody, welcome to this course here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over basically how to use Excel in a very crash course like way. So what you need to do is you need to open up Excel and we'll get started. So let's go and open up a blank workbook here. Now, one of the things I love about Excel is that it is incredibly versatile now. And depending on when you first started to use it, uh, Excel has really advanced, and there's a lot of things you can do with it. And you'll be learning about a lot of that in this course here. But what I really want to do is just go over some of the quick basics on how to use Excel and what I like to use Excel for. Okay, so one of the things that's great about Excel is obviously is to take in and read data in a very clear way. Now, a couple things, just because this is a 21-inch monitor and things might be a little bit small. Now, if you want to select all the cells, you can select this button here. And if you want to raise everything, you can see that, yeah, it does indeed raise the number of the font here. And you can see that you have a font, size, etc. This is, of course, all on our Home tab. And our Home tab pretty much has everything that you would expect from the word processor point of view. Now, one thing that you have to understand about any kind of complex software like Excel is that should you know what every single one of these buttons do before you start really using it? Well, the answer is no. You should just start using the software the way you need to use the software, and as you use the software more, you will find out what's useful. But if you want, you can actually drag this button down here, and you can make it bigger. Now, I'm going to make it way bigger than I absolutely need it to be. And the reason for that is I want it to basically be easy to see so that anyone on their device can look at this. Some people look at these tutorials on their mobile device. And if you're one of them, this is why I'm doing it, all right? And I think it just looks a little bit better, okay? So as you can see, I've been moved up here, but you don't necessarily need to do that if you don't want to. So let's take a look at a basic example here. Let's call this month, all right, and year, or month here, and we'll just say revenue, okay? So let's say you have your month here, and let's say you have a revenue from a side gig here. Now, of course, you can move this anywhere. So let's say you wanted to move it up here. You can go ahead and do that. If you wanted to, so I'm just pushing Control X and Control V. One thing I like to do, by the way, is I like to not put things, I like to give a margin, but that's just me, okay? And it's a margin of cells here. Now, the way that Excel works is that you have your cells, which you can put data into. In this case, we're just simply adding in the, basically adding in the title to our table here, okay? So if I type in January, okay, then I type in February, right? Do we really have to go down through all the rest of the months? Well, I don't think we do. So let's select both of these, and if you move to this bottom square here, you can simply do this. And what this will do is it will fill everything in. Now you'll also notice that the cells here do not necessarily fit this here. It doesn't necessarily fit it, right? Well, we can go up to the top here and simply move it over. Now let's say you wanted to give more of a margin here. Well, you can see that this cell still has the same size here. You can just do Control Z to undo that here, okay? So let's just give some revenue numbers here, and I'm just going to do just some numbers here. All right, and then just for simplicity's sakes, I'm just going to copy and paste that because the actual number doesn't really matter that much. I just want to show you, okay? So let's say this here is your side hustle. You get some extra money, etc. Okay? First things first, this doesn't look as good as you perhaps like it to. So one of the things I like to do is I just like to click the bold button up top so you can see that there is a little bit of a difference there. Now, if you really wanted to, I used to do this all the time in Excel where I'd give a bottom border, and you can see that there's a border there. It's up to you whether you want to do that or not. You can also, if you click on this here, there's a whole bunch of different kinds. Like you can add in like a box here. It's up to you whether you want to do this. Now, over the years, I have not been doing that as much. Personally, I think that's maybe not the best use of time, but that's just me. I just like to put it in bold here. And if you really like it, you can up the font by 1. Okay? Not too complicated. Okay? But there's another problem here. And that problem is that this is not formatted in dollar signs. Well, okay. There's two things. Usually with dollars, you get cents. And usually you have 2 decimal places, right? So you can actually go and click this button here, right? And you can see that we can add in more than 1 decimal place, just like that here, right? But let's say we want to add in a dollar sign to this, all right? And let's say we want to add in this entire column as dollar signs, all right? So if we click, as you can see here, by the way, you can just click this whole column here, right? And by clicking on this whole column, you can just simply add in the dollar sign there. And that actually looks pretty good, okay? And now it's basically formatted in dollars, okay? Now, a couple things. Let's take a look at this here. So let's select, actually, you know what? Let's just select this whole column here, okay? And you'll see at the bottom here, we have the average is 333, the count is 13, and then the sum is, well, almost 4,000, okay? So let's say you want to add this up. We can say this total, so we can just call this, for example, totals up here, and we can say total revenue, okay? We can call this average. And let's say you want to calculate those, okay? Well, there's one way. You could just literally just do this and copy this over, but there's a better way to do it here. And by the way, I'm going to subtract this a couple times here so that it just looks a little bit better, and unbold these, okay? If you really want to, you can maybe put italicize there, just to make it look a little different, okay? So the total revenue, and let's say we wanted to just add up this entire year here. So if we take a look and we want to add this in here, all we have to do is push equals, and we can type in sum, and you know what? We can actually just drag this here. All right, and look at that. We get the same number as if we dragged it over here. Sum, and then 39960, okay? And if we change this, right, you can see that the number changes as well. Right? Pretty simple stuff. So it does it automatically for you, okay? Now, if we type in equal average, okay, and we do the average of all these, and there you go. It gives you the average to 2 decimal places. And let's say you don't want that. Well, you can just do this, right? Now let's take a look at what this is. Sum C3 to C14. So what I need you to do, or what you need to look at here, is it is this column of C. It starts at 3 and goes to 14. If I type in C13, you can see that it no longer does that. All right, so that is essentially what it is. Now, let's say you wanted to do sum, and we did this. We wanted to add all the months together. Well, it basically gives you a 0 because that makes no sense. Okay, so as you can see, we have the total revenue here. Now, there's another way to do this, by the way. So let's just delete this and type in sum, and let's just type in the entire item here. And you can see here that if we do sum CC, it will do the same thing. And the best part is that it actually ignores this here, right? So let's say you wanted to do, you know, let's say this was 2019, right? And then we would copy and paste this down here, and we did 2020, right? And then just for simplicity's sake, actually, by the way, if you want to copy things, right, you can just simply push Control-C, Control-V. Okay, So as you can see, the total revenue goes up, but the average still stays the same because we only told it to select those specific cells. So by the way, if you do equals and then average again, and average bracket, and we did C to C as well, and you can see it will still give the average because, well, we basically copied everything. So let's make this a little bit more complex. So